Welcome to a brand new episode of Machine Learning Made Simple. Here we unravel the enchantment behind machine learning, demystifying all the technical jargon. I'm your host, Shogato, and I'm here to chat with you about the revolutionary changes unfolding right before our eyes in the tech world. Let's dive in. Imagine waking up to discover your seminar has been cancelled due to bad weather. Stress starts to creep in. What now? But hold on, an AI has already stepped in. It has rescheduled your meetings, cancelled your Uber, and even ordered your favorite coffee. And here's the kicker, it has also planned a very cozy breakfast with your wife at a place that you both like by talking to your wife's AI agent. In today's episode, we'll delve into how this AI agent not only saved your day, but also orchestrated all those different things that you really enjoy. Tune in as we explore the fascinating world of AI-driven solutions and how they can turn a potential disaster into a delightful experience. Discover more about the technology behind it and how it can enhance your daily life. This revolution is coming. It's not very far along. It's already happening. AI is evolving faster than ever, but still there is a lot of confusion about what AI agents actually are. A lot of people talk about AI agents, agentic frameworks and all those things, but there is still a confusion out there. Some say that they are just glorified prompts, fanciful orchestrations using just fancy code that is strung together. But is that really true? Are AI agents just old school prompt engineering just strung together in a very fancy orchestrated way? Today we're going to break it all down and explain why AI agents are just more than static rules and simple workflows. We will explore how AI is moving from a world of automation which were just stacked prompts to an era where AI can make decisions autonomously. They can plan ahead and adapt to new challenges on their own. This is a fundamental shift from using AI as a tool to using AI as a collaborator. And by the end of this episode, you will have a clear understanding of what that means for technology, for businesses, and even for your everyday life. Let's start with a very basic question. Why do we even need AI agents? Some argue that they are just glorified prompts. But here's the thing, automation alone is never enough. If we want the artificial intelligence to be truly useful, we need systems that don't just react, they think ahead, they adapt and make decisions. And these are not just those reinforcement learning that learns how to solve a problem, like how to stack warehouses in the smartest way possible. For years, we have been automating tasks, factory assembly lines, email filters, even self-driving cars. But automation follows rules. Those are strict rules that they have to follow. Reinforcement learning agents, they do have to follow rules. They have to come up with policies based on those rules. They can plan to a certain extent, but it doesn't plan and predict and evolve. Although there is a subgroup of those agents that has been explored called genetic algorithms which can evolve, but that's a separate discussion for another day. So the real breakthrough now is that AI can strategize, work towards goals independently, and a swarm of AI can respond dynamically to changing situations. Let's take an example for you that you use everyday navigation apps. A standard GPS just gives you the fastest route based on traffic. But an AI-powered travel assistant, what is different with that? It could book your flights, check the weather, and depending on the weather, it can change the flight. It might see that might be a risk of the flight being cancelled. It can reserve a hotel for you at the lowest price or maybe at a very nice location which might have a spa. And it's all preference-based. It will know your preference, know your behavioral patterns. For example, some people might give a preference of a hotel which is cheap, but they showed by their purchasing behavior, they keep staying at very expensive hotels with spas and baths. So the machine learning algorithm have those recommendations, but a true AI agents will know which one to book depending on the mood of the person. Sometimes it will realize that they book cheap hotels, but then they go and upgrade to a much more expensive hotel. So all those nuances that a human being can reason and understand, the AI agent can do as well now. Not as good as human beings, let me be clear, but they are getting there. Their reasoning skills are getting better. In fact, we did an episode just before this about increasing the reasoning capacity of the AI agents. And if you're interested, just listen to it. It's just slightly technical on the technical side, but there is a push towards increasing the reasoning capability of the AI agent. So what the AI agents are really doing now, they're planning for us. So the planning is the main problem that we are trying to solve. All AI researchers are trying to solve. It's not just following instructions, it's anticipating needs and acting proactively. So how did we get here? What is the evolution of this agentic AI? The AI didn't just wake up one day and decide to start making decisions on its own. The journey towards this agentic AI has been happening in several decades and different phases. We started with these rule-based systems that everyone is familiar with, like the spam filters. These are early AI systems which followed strict rules. If an email had "Congratulations, you have won" in the subject line, it got flagged and you know what it contains, it's spam. Now, in the next phase of the development of these AI systems, the machine learning models came. The AI evolved to recognize patterns. The Netflix recommendation, for example, started using behavioral data to personalize the content that you see on Netflix. And that was the next level of progress of the AI system. And then came the phase 3, the large language models, and which people are still working on. The large language models and generative AI systems like GPT-4, which can process complex prompts, generate text, write essays, write blogs, write copywriting and all those ads, and even solve problems autonomously. The next phase of AI evolution is the agentic AI, where we are today. And this has not started just now. It has started 6 or 8 months ago, and people have figured out that they can have the AI agents make autonomous decisions and collaborate, and you can create multiple small AI agents which can collaborate and solve a task simultaneously while working and collaborating as a team. And I already covered this in an earlier episode, I think in episode 37, when there was a paper which showed that you can solve chemistry problems by deploying a branch of AI agents which can plan and research and create hypotheses and then solve a chemistry paper, and they can generate a research grade chemistry paper. And I covered that. Those were the early days of agentic AI. Now it has matured more, and the main ingredient for that maturity comes from the ability to reason for longer time and reason better. And that's where most of the research is working on. And as I mentioned, I covered in the previous episode, the episode 63, and I covered how you can make the large language model to reason better. And if you can add that to your agentic framework, the whole capacity of the system goes up 100 times, 2000 times, just because it can reason for longer periods of time. It can plan better. So the whole point of AI agents is that it can plan autonomously. So if it can reason for a longer time, if it can think like Deep Blue thought during its match with Kasparov, the famous chess match between computer and human beings. So if the machine can think for a really long time, if it can reason for a long time, then it can plan better. That's the idea. So that's where the agentic model is going today. To improve the agentic model, not only we need the framework, but also those reasoning, the extended reasoning capability. So put it simply, the traditional AI, it waits for input. Now we have AI agents which are now proactive, which does not wait for your input. It can just proactively take action. Now it sounds scary, and I'll explain. It's not always going to trigger by itself. There are safeguards that it will wait for things that it can take action on. It can also do many things autonomously. It can only do a few things, and there of course would be safeguards to prevent the AI from acting autonomously that can cause problems for their AI owners. Now, it doesn't give you options. It can make choices based on long-term goals and objectives. And why does this matter? And what is the real-world impact? So let's look at the few real-world impacts of the AI agents. This is not a hypothetical scenario. This is not a futuristic concept. These AI agents are already changing the industrial landscape. So let's look at a few industries where this is happening. For example, let's look at cybersecurity. AI agents are now deployed which can detect threats. It can predict attacks and even fight back in real time before human analysts can react for an cybersecurity breach. Let's look at finance. These AI agents can predict micro crashes, like the market crashes. Sometimes they have micro crashes. Even before they can happen, they can make trades on behalf of the investor autonomously. It used to happen before, but now they can do even better. They can totally look into the microstructure. And if you probably heard of those flash crashes that were precipitated by those agents, AI agents apparently, that were deployed, that were trading with each other and caused those flash crashes. And that's why those circuit breakers were implemented at the trading floors, because to prevent those AI agents which were trading at very high frequency to cause those kind of disruption to the stock market. Now those agents, those AI programs were rule-based programs. So if they see a certain thing, they will act. For example, if there is a rule says like, if you see SPY is liquid and there is a substantial 5% drop in the Microsoft stock, then short the Microsoft stock. Maybe there's another AI agent which has an opposite rule. If it's like, if you see a large short volume of the Microsoft stock, then buy, because then someone might be pushing it down for a pump and dump kind of scheme. So those two AI agents will compete against each other and cause a very fast flash crash. So what will happen is, because of that activity, the price will suddenly get depressed, and since the other AI bot is buying, then the price will come back up. So it is all good as long as it's just a flash crash. But rule-based AI agents have known to cause substantial damage to the microstructure of the markets. Although they provide the liquidity that's needed in the markets, they also cause substantial harm to the microstructure, because since these are not human behavioral based trading agents, they don't reflect the human values, the human behavioral patterns. They are just rule based. They do not reflect the true structure of the market as you would see in a true human to human interaction level market structure. So that's one of the issues of the older AI trading bots. Now the new generation of AI trading bots can understand and behave like human beings. They will not do those trades. Like when they realize that there is some kind of a spike in the short interest, a human being will exercise caution. So will these AI agents, and these will prevent all those kind of flash crashes that we have seen before happening due to those algorithmic trading bots operating in the stock market space. So that's about finance. And what about healthcare? AI agents are definitely helping a lot in the healthcare sector. There are AI agents which help doctors diagnose diseases even earlier, like 5 or 6 years earlier. There are companies which can do MRI scans and perform all those diagnoses almost sometimes in real time, and give feedback to patients who either have the peace of mind that they don't have something that they might be worried about. If someone have cancer in their family, or if they carry the BRCA2 gene, they might be really worried, and some people even do prophylactic mastectomy. So for all those people, just to give a peace of mind, there are companies which can use those MRI scans or enhanced functional MRI scans and then give it to an AI agent who can perform multiple level of holistic diagnostics and run all those tests, and then get it reviewed by a doctor, of course, and then give the patient the peace of mind that, okay, we have taken those prophylactic measures, but instead of taking those extreme prophylactic measures like mastectomy, we are doing this diagnostic approach which has much higher chance of catching any kind of future issues that these high risk patients might encounter in the future. So in order to flesh this out even further, let's think about an analogy, how to differentiate between the traditional AI, even if it's prompt augmented generative AI, and what is the difference with the prompt engineering technique and the agentic framework. So think about the prompt engineering is like the junior employee who waits for instructions before completing a task, while the agentic AI is like a manager who can spot problems, find solutions, and take actions before being asked. This shift isn't just about making AI better, it's about making AI truly useful in a way that automation alone never could have achieved. Now that we understand the agentic AI and what it is and how is it different from the prompt engineering techniques and why it's so different from those traditional automation techniques, let's explore how the AI agents are actually being used today. In the next section, we'll talk about real-world examples of AI agents in robotics, finance, and even creative fields. We'll break down these systems and how do they work under the hood. Stick around because things are just about to get even more interesting. Welcome back to our deep dive into agentic AI. In the last segment, we explored the evolution of AI beyond basic automation. Now we are shifting gears to look at how AI agents are actively shaping the business landscape, From optimizing operations to generating new revenue, these systems are not just improving efficiency, they're changing how businesses are operating at a fundamental level. Whether you're scaling your startup, developing AI-driven products, or navigating competitive industries, understanding how agentic AI is being applied in the real world is very crucial. So we are talking about AI that can think, predict, and act on its own. AI that can optimize supply chains, secure multi-billion-dollar transactions, automate your email inbox, like respond automatically to certain boilerplate things. Like previously, these kind of automations would have been rule-based and built in. For example, if you're using your CRM, HubSpot, all those things have built rule-based funnels that would apply to these email chains. For example, if a candidate applied with a resume, they'll go into a funnel and they'll trigger a set of automated emails. Or if a sales prospect emails your sales representative, that will trigger a set of automated chains of emails with follow-up. But those are all rule-based. Now with these agentic models, you can replace your sales representative. Well, don't replace him, augment him with the AI agent. And then it will improve the workflow substantially, because now the sales representative don't have to fend off at least 1,000 emails that they are getting every month. They probably only have to respond to maybe the top 10 emails who are real prospects. For example, if your sales representative has 1,000 leads, of those 1,000 leads, and they need to communicate with those 1,000 leads constantly in order to convert them into real prospects. Now those kind of massive communication can be handled by the AI agent, and the sales representative can only focus on upskilling their selling technique when the sales leads get filtered down to only those 10 prospects out of those 1,000 leads by the AI agent. So that's a very good workflow, and that's the sense of automation that you can build and really scale, especially for small startups who don't have a huge sales team who can handle thousands of leads. This would come in real handy. So let's look at industry by industry, what this agentic AI is doing, and what is the best part of this. It is happening right now. So let's break this down industry by industry. Let's start with healthcare. Everyone is talking about longevity, preventative medicine, and early diagnostics. But here's the real story. AI agents are already making this possible, and some of the biggest names in Hollywood are betting on it. For example, Function Health. Again, this is not an endorsement. This is just a podcast to tell people what's out there. Imagine a world where you don't have to wait to feel sick before getting tested. Function Health, which is co-founded by Mark Hyman, is making this a reality. For only $500 a year, you can get access to 100 lab tests, which covers everything from heart health to hormone levels to toxins and vitamin deficiency. No doctor visits, no insurance middlemen, just pure proactive health tracking. And this is fundamentally changing our healthcare landscape, because people are getting those early diagnostics that are detecting cancers in the first stages. And there are many people I know that who have undergone this, and they have figured out cancer even before the doctors caught it, because doctors usually do not prescribe those kind of MRIs, functional MRIs, before the symptoms arise. But then it is too late. For an aggressive kind of cancer, when the symptoms arise, that's too late. So these kind of preventative lab tests are saving lives right now, and AI agents are scanning thousands of medical papers to suggest those personalized treatment options tailored just for us. So another example is Nico Health, which is co-founded by Spotify's Daniel Ek. They're using AI-powered full body health scans to detect diseases before the symptoms even appear. Imagine walking into a clinic, standing in a scanning pod, and within minutes you're getting the breakdown of your skin, heart, and metabolic health, all analyzed by AI. So I think their pricing structure is slightly different, but you have to look at it online. So they're really putting their early detection in the hands of everyday people. And this is really futuristic, almost like a sci-fi movie, that someone stands on a pod and out comes their medical records and readings and all the measurements, and the AI agents are automatically taking in those inputs and making custom decisions, like these are the suggestions. This is not rule-based, and agentic AI is truly transforming this medical landscape. Now let's move to finance. If you think AI is just analyzing numbers, think again. So long gone are the days of those automated trading bots, which causes market crashes. These AI agents are actually predicting the market crashes. They're not only they're executing trades faster than human, they're actually protecting those billion-dollar transactions. Where 10 years ago, those trading bots were causing market crashes, flash crashes, because of different trading bots having different algorithms which clashed with each other, and the rule-based system didn't understand the microstructure of the market and really caused harm to the microstructure of the market. These AI agents are not behaving like human beings. So that's the behavioral aspect that comes in. The AI agents now are trading and executing trades by understanding the market behavior, the macroeconomic behavior. Those things cannot be hard coded. Like there are certain sentiments, like if there is some kind of a massive war going on in Europe, some unsettling news breaks out, yes, you can include those market sentiment and look at how the market reacts, but to have a holistic understanding of how the local market will react, how the market, the CBOE in Chicago, how the trading booth there will react is different from how the trading booth in Boston will react. So those market microstructures are not understood by those trading bots that were deployed before. But now these AI agents have those holistic understanding, and they can make those decisions in real time. That's too fast for human beings to make, because they also have to reason. Some of those market crashes that were precipitated by those AI trading bots were caused because they were rule based. There was no thinking, no reasoning involved, because if, let's say, our trading bot only buys or shorts Microsoft stock, if it sees a 5% or over decrease, that 5% squeeze might be just because the earnings report was bad. If that was not properly fed into the trading bot, that trading bot will trigger a cascade of other trading bots starting to sell and cause a flash market crash. So that's a lack of understanding of the market. Now these AI agents can come in and fix that. And the reason they can fix that, because if you look at those market crashes precipitated by those rule-based trading bots, a human being will not make that mistake. They'll realize, okay, that's only a 5% decrease, and that's a reflection of the earnings disappointment. I will not react to that. I'll just sit on my Microsoft stock and wait it out. And that's, most human beings will react that way, but not trading bots. Not the automated trading bots. The rule-based trading bots will make that mistake. So it needs deliberate reasoning process in order to avoid those pitfalls. And those reasoning process was not possible to prevent those AI trading bots from making that mistake, because those reasoning needs to happen at lightning fast pace, that it needs human intervention. It needed circuit breakers, human in the loop circuit breakers, but not anymore. Now we have AI agents who can reason at the speed of the AI trading bots, but have the same, almost similar reasoning capability as a human being who is versed and conversant with those market structure, market microstructure, and macroeconomics, and also can reason like a human being. So that's where they're coming in. As an example, look at Moody's. Moody's is using a multi-agent AI system for financial analysis. They use them to offer insights from different AI perspective, like essentially simulating teams of analysts to break down investment risk. So this is not just AI giving you numbers, it's an AI debating itself. Like there are multiple AI agents. One is a research analyst, one is market analyst, one is an economist agent, AI agent, and they stress test their ideas. That let's say there is a research AI agent who is saying that, okay, the market dynamics looks like it's bullish, so we should invest in, let's say, Tesla stock. And then there is a global AI expert who looks at the global trends. It's like, looks like there's going to be competitive pressure from these electric vehicle makers based in third world countries, who can really lower the price, and then Tesla stock might drop sharply, because Tesla stock is really overvalued, and which means market is baking in the Tesla's long-term view that Tesla will substantially increase its production and selling capacity and higher profits. But if those very low-cost electric vehicles flood the market, then Tesla will totally lose its market segment. At least the low to mid-level car market segment will be totally gone, and that's a huge market segment that will be gone, and Tesla stock will drop. So that might be the global AI agent, that will be their input, and then the economics agent take these inputs and do a stress test, and then there will be a risk analyst who will perform all this stress test. So all those human beings that are present in a financial analysis team, they can have proxies as AI agents who can perform similar operations and do all those conversations that takes hours and days of meetings to come to a conclusion, and just send it to their human counterparts and say that, okay, these are the debates we think that you will have. So we did those debates for you in the last hour. We are deciding amongst ourselves, and this is AI agents. They're talking to themselves and they made those decisions. They ran through all the scenarios that their human counterparts will run through, and in fact condense at least 1 month of work in, let's say, 1 hour, and send the report to all their human counterparts. Now those human counterparts don't have to meet anymore. So the human counterparts workload is substantially, maybe 100 times reduced, because the AI agents already ran through all possible scenarios and had a discussion like they would have. Yes, we can train a rule-based systems to run through all the scenarios, run through simulations, but someone needs to code them. We cannot perform those reasoning traces that these AI agents can perform just by using a rule-based system. So that's where it is going. So this isn't just an AI giving us numbers. This AI is debating itself, and just like a human team would do, and provide insights within an hour, maybe less, that would take a human team almost weeks to deliver. Let's talk pharmaceuticals. Let's take Johnson & Johnson, for example. Johnson & Johnson has deployed AI agents in drug discovery. Traditionally, testing the new drugs takes years, but now these AI agents which are deployed can optimize those chemical synthesis, like you have heard of those. AlphaFold that Google have released is very good at synthesizing protein. It has made mistakes, and that's why you still need a human involvement in that. Right now they're working pretty good. Like, they don't have to build those complex molecules, they don't have to discover, but they can reduce those manual testing processes by 90% and save these companies millions of dollars in R&D costs. So that's where one of the main applications of the AI agents would be to trigger and speed up those drug discoveries, especially the iterative process. Any process has some form of manual labor associated with, some drudgery associated with it. Let's take, for example, coding. So anytime we do coding, our team will get together and then we'll first decide on a design, and we have to go through multiple iterations of design. Sometimes it takes weeks, sometimes it takes months just to figure out how to design the entire system, because many people have different ideas, and some ideas are standardized, but some ideas are evolving. We might have a completely novel architecture that we need to decide on, and that process of debate can be totally shortened, because if I have an AI agent who has my perspective as, let's say, a architect or Gen AI architect, and then there's another team member who doesn't have a Gen AI expertise, but they have a solution, better, higher level solutions architect expertise with deployment and horizontal scaling, and then there's another team member who is expert in developing front ends. They will understand the challenges. Let's say we propose an architecture where we are not seeing much scaling because our demand is not high, but the front end needs to be hosted somewhere, which needs to scale because people will come to the front end. So they see those challenges. This needs multi-member collaboration to build that architecture even before the coding can begin. So this process can be shortened substantially, almost by 90 to 95%, if we each have our own trained AI agents who can collaborate for us. It has not happened yet, but this is where this is going. So that's what I'm saying. So we need to get ahead and start embrace this technology of this agentic AI, distill our expertise into our AI agents. So the way we do it, there are a couple of ways we can do it. We can give all our prior communications and let the AI agents train themselves, but that's kind of noisy data. Or we can do, which is a better way, but more manual labor intensive way is that we can manually train our AI agents, and the AI agents can have a question and answer session with us. And it's like, what do you prefer? This is the architecture. Do you prefer horizontal scaling or do you prefer vertical scaling, which will work better? Or this is the Gen AI architecture. Do you prefer RAG for this use case, retrieval augmented generation? Or do you prefer just plain refined framework with prompt engineering? Which one would be preferable for this use case? And then I'll give my feedback, and it will go through all these iterative processes, and the AI agent will be well versed with my technical expertise and also will be aligned to my values and my outlook towards building something. So that way we can have our own AI agents that can work in tandem with the AI agents of my colleague, and then they can converse and speed up the process so that we don't have to spend hours sitting in a meeting room debating and deciding on an architecture. When we meet, we probably will meet for an hour and we will look at the report generated by our respective AI agents where they have debated just like us and have come to a conclusion. And more often than not, that's the conclusion we would have arrived if we have performed the debate ourselves. And guess what will happen? All that 1 month of debate will be compressed into maybe 1 hour of meeting, and that's it. Imagine the amount of time that we would save just by employing our own AI agents. That's not the future, that's actually happening. And the faster the startups, the new businesses embrace this new paradigm, the faster we will move towards. Right now, people are using AI agents in our agentic frameworks to scrape websites. Yes, they scale horizontally, very good. But I think the real power of the agentic framework comes if everyone have their own trained AI who can converse like them with someone else's AI. So right now, AI is not supposed to replace us. I think the real power of agentic AI is to perform a human clone of us so that we can train those AI to perform functions like us and augment us and speed up the whole process of the human to human interaction, which is the slowest part. I understand that poses some challenges. If we reduce the human to human interactions, that can cause isolation, because if people are just working and reducing their face-to-face time, then that might cause some kind of mental issues down the road. That is understandable. Then people can stop talking about work and actually talk about things that they enjoy. For example, colleagues can meet up, finish their meeting about work, and then focus on something that they enjoy together, like golfing or some other coding platform that they learned about. So there can be more time, free time available between colleagues where they can have free exchange of ideas and learn from each other. This is not possible with AI. Human beings cannot learn from AI. It's the other way around. AI agents can learn from human beings, but humans can learn from other human beings. So just by using AI agents, we can offload that interaction, that work level interaction, to the AI agents and spend more time with each other, learning from each other and growing and improving from each other. And that's something that human beings are really good at, and that's something we should focus on. That will give human beings purpose. It makes life much more fun to be around those many people and share a common goal, common ideas, not just work. And that will make the workplace even more better and happier place to be at. People will want to go to the workplace because now they can just have the AI agents have those boring discussions about technology while they just focus on something that all of them are passionate about. Now let's talk about marketing and sales, and how AI agents are revolutionizing the customer acquisition funnel. So marketing and sales are no longer just about lead generation. These AI agents are redefining how businesses are interacting with their customers, not just a CRM. They are not just a CRM anymore. They are automating outreach, managing lead pipelines, and enhancing the human-driven sales strategies. For example, you can have an AI-powered sales funnel optimization. Imagine a system that can handle thousands of email interactions simultaneously. It can engage leads, maintain personalized conversation, and that's the important part, personalized conversation, and automatically filter them down to, let's say, 10 high-value prospects. Now instead of spending so much time on cold outreach, the sales team can just focus on those high-value customers with the high conversion rates, and then use their conversion techniques that just require a human touch, because sometimes you just need to meet clients face-to-face. You cannot do it over, especially for a high-ticket item. You do need to meet the client multiple times. So sales teams are already using parts of it, but imagine when HubSpot and other CRMs start integrating these AI agentic flows, it will just totally change the workflow. those sales teams can just focus, team members, the representative can just focus on the human to human interactions and not worry about actually nurturing the leads and trying to convert them into real prospects. And many companies are already testing this kind of agentic flow in their ad targeting and customer engagement. Like, for example, Meta is definitely using AI, and these are the big names in marketing and advertising, Meta and Google. They have very, very well fine-tuned ad placement strategies. Now they're using agentic AI to take it even further. The AI agents can autonomously test the creative ads, personalize the website experiences in real time. So if you go to a website, previously the ads will be kind of tailored to your needs based on your profile, but now it can dynamically change the ads and the ads placement, which is much harder to do because they have to rewrite the website code in real time based on your search behavior. For example, if I'm searching for, let's say, a specific book on cooking, then the ad placement will come with all the devices that are required. For example, I'm looking for a very specific book on vegan cooking. Then it will give me all list of all other book that's related, or it will suggest some appliances which help with vegan cooking, like a blender. So, and the ad placement will be such that it would not be disruptive, but it will catch my attention. So that's a dynamic coding that essentially the agents are writing the codes in real time. So that's substantially different from what we have looked so far. This is much more resource consuming, and the compute resources required are huge, but AI agents are doing it. It's already happening. We are seeing those dynamic websites becoming fully dynamic, that they are being changed in real time, and that's what we are seeing right now. No manual intervention. The businesses do not need to worry about this. This just ensures that the business can maximize the conversion rates with minimal amount of manual intervention. Let's close out this discussion on the use case studies of different businesses implementing AI agents by talking about eBay. That's one of the biggest retailers and the online marketplace, and they're really changing the landscape. eBay is redefining what it means to be an online seller by they have deployed this AI-powered virtual assistant that can totally revolutionize the operational efficiency. So let's do a little backdrop on this first. So in 2024, eBay rolled out a suite of AI-driven tools that totally streamline the way sellers can list, optimize, and manage their inventory. Now, these AI assistants that were released in 2024 were helping sellers automate everything from listing optimization to inventory tracking to personalized customer interactions. But here's where it gets interesting. These AI tools, while powerful, also introduce a substantial new challenge: managing these tools effectively, because you yourself have to manage these tools as a seller. And for many sellers, handling multiple AI powered tools became as complex as managing a team of employees. Sellers suddenly found themselves juggling multiple AI solutions. Each requires attention, because think about it. If you have to look at the written analysis and look at the marketing funnel, then that AI agent is giving feedback that you need to ingest and then make decisions on it. So decision making became much more laborsome, because now you are getting so much feedback from all these AI tools that decision making has become a bottleneck. So to address this, eBay introduced virtual AI assistants. Now, these assistants are not to just assist sellers, they assist the AI itself. It means sellers no longer have to manually tweak their tools constantly. So it can happen iteratively with the feedback between different AI tools. So if there is a marketing AI which is looking at the marketing data and giving feedback, that feedback would be ingested by the virtual assistant and used to fine tune the corresponding ad placement or ad marketing revenues, and then that feedback from how the ads are performing can be used to see what would be the customer interest in certain products. So if there is wide interest or rising interest in a specific product from a seller, let's say their seller sells 3 different products. One is a kitchen utensil, one is a robotic vacuum, and one is, let's say, a simple book. Like, I chose 3 completely different because they're easy to segregate. So let's say the interest in the kitchen utensil is spiking, which means the seller needs to increase the inventory on that so that to meet the upcoming demand. So now previously the seller had to manually go and check the report from the AI or the ad targeting AI, which was reporting on the increased interest in the kitchen appliance. It might have gone viral on TikTok, for example. So that report needs to be ingested, and the decision needs to be made that increase the inventory level to meet the upcoming demand. Otherwise, my competitors are going to totally take control of that market segment. So now that decision making is very slow. As you can imagine, someone has to read the report, someone has to make the decisions, and it will take multiple iterations of how much inventory do we need. And you need to hire an analyst to figure out the demand and see what share of the market that you can penetrate and effectively make that decision. So it's a very complex, because if you overstock the inventory and if it's just a seasonal spike, then we will lose a lot of money. If we understock, then we lose shares to market some of the competitors who not only, and that even a 1 or 2% loss of market segment to the competitors can slowly spiral out of control, snowball out of control, because markets will respond that way, because usually it's like a Pareto principle. Most of people, as there are more and more people using that specific utensil and their friends are using the same utensils from the same company, it's like, where did you buy it from? We bought it from this company. Well, it's like, are there any other companies? No, just buy this company. Users don't go out and research if there are competitors and what are their price points. If the price is kind of similar, they won't buy my product. They just go to the competitors. And if their friends are buying from that competitor, they just go to that competitor. So if we lose even 1 or 2% of the market share because of not being able to deliver enough, then we will have to worry about losing the market segment totally to my competitor. So that's a different conversation that we need to have with our marketing and inventory management team. Now that can be automated by AI. However, ingesting the report and automating the marketing inventory is also a laborious slow decision-making process, and that can be automated by the agentic AI, which can look at the market report, look at the ad targeting report, and look at the feedback from the customers who are showing serious interest in the specific product, and then ingest it quickly, reason and see what the demand might be, and do a quick calculation, maybe hire another agentic AI who can do the analysis for that overall virtual assistant and make the decision to increase the inventory level dynamically. And all this is happening in the background in an automated fashion with no human involvement. And that's crazy. Think about it. AI is managing AI. That's the future we are stepping into. eBay's virtual assistant is essentially a micro sales and marketing team. It gives the sellers the edge without requiring them to spend hours analyzing competitive strategies or optimizing product descriptions. And as AI agents continue to evolve, we can expect more businesses to adopt. Let AI take on the burden of complex decision making so that business owners can focus on growth and strategy. That is it for today. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next week. That's a wrap for today's episode of Machine Learning Made Simple. If you have questions or want to explore AI topics further, please don't hesitate to leave a comment. Until next time, keep exploring and enjoy your AI adventure.